Jersey. Got my boy.
What's up? It's Robbie.
How you
MG
been,
Fitness
man?
Room. We're here.
We're here, man. Listen, man, you know how it goes, bro. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, man. Make sure you guys go check out our interviews with former five-time world kickboxing champion Kathy Long. Make sure you check out our interviews with Jazz the Rapper, Jay Mills. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, when I tell you guys that me and Robbie in our 3-4 year YouTube career on various platforms, we've gotten to interview a lot of legends, battle rap legends, Danny Myers, Rum Nitty, you know what I'm saying? Freestyle battle legend Juice, you know what I'm saying? That was a goodie.
Mhm.
Former five-time, like I said, world kickboxing champion Kathleen. We got to interview a lot of great people, man. Tonight, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. This might be the legend of legends who we got on this platform. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to any kind of hip hop, whether it's T.I., whether it's Lil Wayne, Lloyd Banks, Jada Kiss, Cameron, Outkast, any of that, the lineage traces back to this man. You know what I'm saying? The genetics trace back to this guy right here, man. He is one of the founding fathers of this thing called rap, of this thing called MCing, of this thing called hip hop, this thing that we all love and enjoy. We got the Grandmaster Kaz in the building, man.
Hey, was good.
What's good,
Legend.
Kaz? How
Thank
you
you for
been,
coming
man?
on.
Man, love is love. I'm here, baby.
Right on, man. It's hard to catch you, man. You a busy guy, man.
Hey,
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
I keeps it moving, you know what I mean?
Right on.
It doesn't stop until you do. You know what I
Right
mean?
on.
So you it stops. So I can't stop. I won't stop.
Right on, man. Speaking of which, man, listen, bro, we're gonna get right into it, man. I told you, man, we got some original dope questions for you, bro. Kaz, when people call you a legend and people call you a forefather of hip hop and of rap, man, I got a question for you, man. I've never seen nobody ask you this, man. Are you modest about that? Are you modest about them calling you a legend, or do you feel that it's justified, man? How does Kaz feel about being called a legend and a forefather, man?
I feel it's justified, but I am humble about it.
Okay.
Okay, I don't walk around with a shirt on that says I'm so and so and so. I have no expectations when I meet people for them to hold me in no kind of esteem or anything like that. But I know who I am. I know what I did, and a lot of other people do as well. But like I said, I don't wear it.
Okay. When Cass, now a lot we're gonna get into this, man. We definitely want you to break down the history, man. Now, a lot of people would say that you are best known for ghostwriting Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang, man. Would you
Crazy.
is clear that up for us, man? Because that we all know that that's the first real like commercially successful hip hop records of all time, bro. What do you say to that, and what else has Cass contributed in your opinion? We need it from the mouth of the legend, man.
Rapper's Delight was the first commercially successful rap song. It is cemented, okay, in the DNA of rap music. You know,
Yep.
whenever you go back to the recorded era, that's the first song that you go to. It's the song that introduced not only America, but the world to hip hop and rap music. Okay, so I think, yeah, that may be the thing that I'm most famous for, commercially. But as far as the culture of hip hop, I'm known as being one of the fathers of this genre. You know what I mean? I'm your favorite MC's favorite MC's favorite MC. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you
Talk about it,
said it
man.
yourself. If you trace the genealogy of rap, period, back through the eras, through the decades, and to the beginning, you'll see me
Okay. Right on.
and a
Robbie.
few other people as well.
Okay. Robbie.
Uh, so I wanted to ask you. I've heard about the controversy, of course. Like everybody always mentioned that you ghost wrote the song, but how did you end up on it? Like, what happened? I guess generally, like
Well,
how
you
did it
got
come?
me
How did people find
told
out? I
the
guess
story.
so if it was a
I
secret or
told the
not.
story so long for so long. You know, you tend to think, okay, everybody knows by now, but many generations have come and gone. You know, since then, and yeah, I guess people still want some kind of introspection on how this thing came about. Basically, I wrote the lyrics to "Rapper's Delight" back in 1977,
Mm.
and they they were my rhymes. They were rhymes that I used to say at parties and stuff like that. So by the time Big Bank Hank, before he was joined the Sugar Hill Gang, he used to manage my group called Mighty Force. And in pursuit of that management thing, he went and got a job in New Jersey to try to, make some money to help reinforce what we were trying to do. In the process, Sylvia Robinson came through. He used to take a little boombox to work with him with my tapes in them, and probably, like Milli Vanilli to the tape, lip syncing to the tape while it's playing. People coming in and out of the pizza shop like, oh shit, this fat dude could rap. But, they couldn't rap a package. He could emulate something easy, you know what I mean, copy, but he couldn't write or rap like in the traditional sense. However, when he told me about the offer that they gave him to make a record, I didn't really think it was credible. Like, who the fuck would want you to make a record? You know what I'm saying? Here, go ahead. Yes.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking, if anything ever comes from it, you know what I mean, it'll trace right back to me. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it did, but too late. Okay, legally, I had no attachment to the song, so I was never credited as a writer. Okay, I never received a dime in publishing or anything from Rappers to Life.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like never let an MC steal your rhyme. I said it in my own rhyme, and he bit the rhyme and said it, and I let him steal a rhyme.
Did people know right away? Like, how long did it take for people to find out?
Well, the hip hop community knew.
Yeah,
like you got
right away.
1979, hip hop was basically in New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically confined to the five boroughs and the outer skirts, all right, the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of knew, the hip hop community all knew each other. We knew everybody's material and stuff like that. So when this record comes out and this guy goes, I'm the CASN, the OVA, and now the rest of the country was like, oh my God, this is amazing. The people in the Bronx was like, who the fuck is that? Who that's saying cash shit? That's Casanova. That's Casanova Fly. You know what I mean? So like the world at large, who hadn't even heard of hip hop yet, and we had been doing it for 6 years underground. Okay, but this first commercially released song introduced it to the country, and the country had never heard of the Cold Crush. They had never heard of Flash. They had never heard of Kool Herc or none of that. Okay, they wasn't even up on hip hop yet. So their first introduction to the culture was the song "Rapper's Delight."
Fire. Cass, man,
when people found out, they were dumbfounded. They were like, but the rest of the country was, you know what I mean? They just took off, and to this day, they continue to tour.
Yeah. I gotta ask, I got a follow-up question on that, Cass. I've always wanted to ask you, bro. All the years I've been reading The Source and Vibe magazine, I've read about you for years, man, since I was a youngster, bro. When you seen that initially take off, man, did you feel gypped or jaded? Was it like hater vibes from you, or was it like, I'm happy that it's going somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was the vibe like with you, man?
I had mixed feelings. First of all, I felt like if somebody liked what Hank said, and Hank said my shit, it was Hank's job to tell those people, yo, this ain't me. This is Casanova Fly. I managed this guy named Casanova Fly. All right. He never did. He just went and said the shit and joined the group. So I just think and think how many times I've had to rehash this over in my head and think how my life could have been different, how things would have been different, how hip hop would have been different. You know what I mean? Had Hank said, yo, this ain't me, this is Casanova Fly, I'll bring him over. I probably would have been a part of the Sugar Hill Gang. Okay? Yeah, not to say that that's something I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a part of the Sugar. I was just joining the Cold Crush at that time, and we was about to make noise. Right. Okay? I mean, just to say, shit works out the way it works out. And who knows if things had went the other way, would I still be here today? Okay. Right. Hank's not here. Wonder Mike, unfortunately, has diabetes. You know what I mean? He's partially blind. So the only really, remaining viable member of the Sugar Hill Gang is Master G. and the the guys who joined, when the other guys weren't there, like Hen Dog, you know what I mean? They got DJ now. Ethiopian King Barshawn is down with them, taking Wonder Mike's place. So, just on the strength of what they did, and from 79, in those early 80 years, those records have endured. And they, like I said, 2026, they still touring.
Okay. Cass, man, you are the perfect person to ask this, bro. There has been this ongoing back and forth amongst hip hop fans for years and years and years about party rap versus lyrical rap, right? Some people like to rap or hear about money, balling, women, etc., so forth. Some people say that that's not real hip hop, that's not real rap. It's all about punchlines, metaphors, stuff about community, activism, change, politics. You being a forefather of this, man, it's a two-sided question. Number one, would you agree that hip hop started off as party music?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Hip hop started
Okay.
out as a party. It was a
Okay.
celebration. It's like, all right, we know that the streets is fucked up. We know it's drugs. We know the police is doing this and that. We know that we live in substandard housing. We know this and this and that. But this right here, we're gonna take this little part right out here, forget all that shit, all right, and rock out. Okay, so that
Okay.
was our little saving grace from all the ills that were going on at the time. So yes, party was the direction. Party was the goal.
Okay. Second part to that, cast is with your adult OG brain, right? In Grandmaster Kaz's mind, what's more important, man? Making a record that people can dance and rock out to, or coming up with the clever bars?
To me, coming up with clever bars is more important because, first of all, I'm an MC, all right,
Okay.
and I'm not just an MC. I'm also a DJ, all
Mm.
right. So when I DJ, I think with the mind of an MC, and when I MC, I think with the mind of a DJ.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So I
That's
take
fire.
each component, each element into consideration when I do each particular thing. Um, but I think what makes an MC important and what makes him an MC is lyrical content. Okay. What you're able to say, what ideas you're able to get across, what you can make up and make people believe, what you can create out of something that's not really real and draw a picture for people and have them watch or listen and go through that whole, journey with you. That's what lyricism is about. That's what MCing is about. Now you got different genres and different breakdowns of what an MC is. Like you said, the early MCs were party rockers. We talking DJ Hollywood. We talking Eddie Cheever. We talking Reggie Wells. We talking all the early cats that just played music for pretty much an older, mindset, but the elements of hip hop, which would come next generation, were in there. Okay. So yeah, it was about a party until the next generation said, you know what? I like the way you talked about that, but I'm gonna go a little deeper. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I know you said that I'm the LOVEBUG, that Love Bug Starsky, so I gotta go past that. I gotta, so I said, I can't say I'm the LOVEBUG because I did that. I did that when I first started DJing, and I heard that shit. I was like, "Yo, that shit is cool." I got on mine. I was like, "I'm the LOVEBUG." That's that. And then I was like, "Wait up, that's this nigga name." He
Right.
wasn't just making something that rhymed. That's his name. He said, "I'm Love Bug Starsky." So how can you go around saying that you the LOVEBUG? All right. So now I'm not, I can never say that. I can never say that. I gotta say I'm the CASN, the OVA, and the rest is FLY. Now you gotta spell out your own fucking name and make it rhyme
Okay.
and make it sound good. Right. And then you gotta describe yourself as well. Put all them adjectives and superlatives in to show who the fuck you is and why people should listen to you. All right.
Dig it, man.
I party rock too. Remember, I'm a DJ. I covered every aspect. But when I got to that microphone where they said, all right, you already got DJs, you got two DJs, or you just rap. You just get on with the MCs and rap. Then my whole mindset was into lyrics. My whole mindset was into writing some shit that you ain't gonna write. Okay. I'm gonna say some shit that you might say, but you ain't gonna say it the way I'm gonna say it. You ain't gonna
Mm,
say it, it ain't gonna sound better than me. Okay. And that's the whole drive behind a MC, a lyrical MC. Anybody could tell you to throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care.
there you go.
So,
Robert.
with your background and everything, we just talked about you being the ghostwriter. What do you think about ghostwriting in general? Because obviously it came up like 10 years ago with Drake and Meek, uh, came out recently. People keep leaking songs where they're reference tracks, so they're not called ghostwriting, I guess. I don't know. They're credited, whatever. So what do you think about this? And
That's cheating.
uh,
That's good bullshit. Well, it's like ghostwriting. Anytime you aid an artist in his project, in his art, whether you're the producer, you provided the music. Okay. If you provided lyrics or gave him a hook or an idea, you provided to the entire project. See, back in the days, MCs was MCs and everybody wrote for themselves. And if you didn't, then don't even step in this forum over here.
yeah,
Okay, because this is where the niggas who do this is at. All right. So if you want to you do something else, go ahead over there and do that, but don't try to step in here and act like you this, because you're going to be shown that you're not. Okay, so stay in your lane. All right, and there were lanes. If you're a party rocking dude and you just want to have, all right, that's you. There you go. Right, you want to incorporate a little slick shit because some party niggas had some verses too.
yeah,
Okay, but their basic theme was, rock the party type shit. You know what I mean? They wasn't barred up, but they
yeah.
had some verses. Okay. So I just think each element was important to the culture. And even to this day, we you got what's my man? Boogie Black. Okay, Boogie Black making party records out the clubs and shit. You know what I mean? Blame it on the Henny. You go in any motherfucking club in New York City, man, and even downtown, down south now, Atlanta, wherever, he's booked all over. Okay, just on for a party joint. My man Will Trax, voice of all cities, Boogie Down Bronx. All right, yo, where your girlfriend? Shake her hand. Throw your elbow out. I mean, whatever. I mean, yo, that's what they do. And they love
Yeah.
people is loving that shit. So there is a lane for it. There is a lane for it.
Okay, Cass, I want to talk battle rap and ciphers for a minute, man. A lot of people who are battle rap fans right now are under the impression that battle rap kind of started off as freestyle, strictly freestyle, and then got into written material. To my understanding, battle raps and ciphers started off as written material, right? Then got into freestyle, and then somewhere along the line got back into written material. Man, could you clear that up for our audience?
I think you got it pretty much correct. Battle
Okay.
rap has started with written lyrics. You came
Okay.
with your best. All right.
Right.
And what they call a freestyle now, as opposed to a freestyle back then, is two different things. See,
Right.
back in the early days, a freestyle was a rhyme that you just had, a random rhyme. And if you was a real MC, then you wrote rhymes all the time. Now, it didn't have to be a record. It didn't have to be attached to your group's routine or nothing like that. It was just your own freestyle rhyme.
Right.
Later on, the definition of freestyle came to mean off the top of the dome. Okay, I'm
Yep.
just freestyle. I have no prior thought. I'm coming up with this as we go along.
Yeah.
And but the original term for freestyle, it was just a written rhyme that you had that wasn't attached to either a routine or a song.
Okay.
At what point did it change? Do you remember?
Ah, you know, I think during the 80s, mid to late 80s, with guys like Supernatural, okay, and Craig G. And there's the other people that kind of brought light to the freestyle off the top of the dome kind of vibe and kind of created a lane for that. And I think that's when the name kind of shifted from just a plain old rhyme to off the top of your dome. I guess freestyle sound better than off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
Okay, but basically, that's what it is. You're going off the top of your dome with no prior thought. You're just coming off the top of your head. So yeah, I think it was like the mid to like late 80s during that golden era when there was so many different kind of MCs and so many different kinds of rap out for you to listen to. I think that's the time when it changed over. And then later on, I think maybe late 90s, early 2000s when the battle rap scene kind of came back big. I think then the definition kind of changed back.
Yeah.
Okay. There, Kaz, there's a one more question with that. There's a famous scene in Wild Style where the Cold Crush brothers are battling another crew on the basketball court, right? My question to you, Cass, is how deep was you into the battle game? You know what I'm saying? Obviously outside the movies. Now I've read stories about Cold Crush, you know, taking on different crews, late 70s, early 80s, but just as an individual MC, how deep were you into battling? And who's the last person that Cass battled that you remember, man? Somebody maybe off camera that we would know.
Well, my first battle experiences with DJ battles
Okay.
because I started out as a DJ.
Okay.
All right. And before a rap or the microphone came into prominence, you battled with the records or your skills on the turntable. Um, I did both. As a DJ, I had a microphone, so I always was the first one to talk or say something or whatever. And original battles weren't like me against you, like I'm gonna talk about you, I'm gonna disrespect you, I'm gonna this and that. A battle was I rap, you rap. Okay. I think I'm better than you. You think you better than me. Let's put it to the test. You say a rhyme, I say a rhyme. You say a rhyme, I say a rhyme. You say a rhyme, I say a rhyme. Whoever's rhymes was the best is the better rapper, and the crowd is going to judge it.
Did
I
you
don't have to say
do
nothing
you
about you. I don't have to disrespect you. I don't have to talk about your mother, your family, or your none of that. I don't even acknowledge you in my rhyme. My rhymes were already written before I met you. I'm just saying the best shit that I got against the best shit that you got, and that was a battle. That was a
do you
battle.
remember if you
Now,
had rounds?
um, yeah.
Yeah.
You had rounds. Even in DJ battles, y'all go, we go. Y'all go, we go. Y'all go, we, and then the
And just
crowd
till you
decides
run
who.
out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
That's crazy.
later on, like DJ conventions started happening where you would be having 6 different DJs all in the same place, and it would be the battle of the DJs, and whoever had the best sound system, the best records, and whoever rocked the house the best would be, the winner. Um, I think when it got personal, and this kind of changed the trajectory of battling, is the Christmas Rappers Convention at Harlem World
Mm.
back in 1980, when it was well, we was in Cold Crush was in it, Ray Vaughn, Johnny Wall was in it, the Force MCs was in it, but Kumo D and Busy B
Busy B, yeah.
was in it as well. And at the time, Busy B was like you couldn't go in a spot and Busy B wasn't rocking the house. You couldn't have a party, you know what I mean? And without Busy Bee opening it up and getting the shit lit up and getting everybody rocking, you know what I mean? Busy Bee was the party rocker. He was that dude. But Busy was like, man, fuck y'all, man. Y'all niggas ain't this and that, such. You know I'm a this and this and that. And that confidence, kind of got to Kumo D. And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna put together something, and at this battle, at this MC convention, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna get this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, basically. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like everybody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what was gonna happen except Kool Mo D. All right. Busy B wasn't acknowledging it neither. He came like we always come. We come, I do my shit, you do your shit, and then they decide whose shit was better. When Mo came on, Mo went straight at Busy B. Okay, like directly, like, this and that, so you, this and that, you ain't, this, that kind of thing. And that's the first time, like, battles kind of shifted toward a personal, like,
Right.
let me degrade you. You know what I mean? Let me spill some shit about you. You know what I mean? Let me make it personal. And I think that's what shifted, the paradigm as far as battling from that time on.
Right. Before I pass it to Robbie, man, I got to go back to my question, Cass, because you named yourself Grandmaster, which means that you was into them kung fu flicks, and it was, a lot of them old kung fu flicks, style versus style. And I ain't gonna lie, you was in that Ice-T documentary talking kind of crazy, Cass. You was talking kind of crazy about your peers, man. Who was the last person that Cass got busy with, man? Who was the last person that stepped to you and was like, "Yo, I want wreck with you, man"? I don't care if it was 1985, man. What's the last battle you remember, man?
I don't remember. See, personal battles like
Yeah.
somebody helping me, not a lot,
Okay.
not a lot. All right, most of our battles came in a group form. The Cold Crush Brothers. We battled Fantastic Five. We had a so-called battle with the Force MC somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we were in many rap conventions and rap contests, which we won the majority of. But as far as personal battles, no, people don't fuck with me.
Okay. Right on.
I'm keeping it a buck. I mean, people they don't come at me like that.
Okay.
Like some of the greatest motherfuckers to ever do this. All right. I'm they OG. I'm the person they got this shit from. You okay? I'm talking Rock Kim. I'm talking KRS-One. I'm talking about niggas that I don't even have to say nothing. Yo, go get them. Get these. Because they all come from me. They all come from my mold. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? It's me saying it, it's them saying it. All right.
Okay.
So as far as contemporaries, the only people in the like pantheon of my skill and ability was Kumo D or Melly Mel.
Oh,
All right. So when you get the so-called trinity of hip hop MCs, the first three, major, they say it's us three. All right. So everybody dope came from us. You
okay.
know what I mean? So I take it as an honor, you know what I mean? And I understand what it is. I
Okay.
did that shit on purpose.
Right on. Right on. Robbie?
I want to ask you, since we're on the subject, do you fuck with Smack, URL, um, any of those guys? Obviously, they came a little later, a while later, but uh,
Oh, you like the
Lux is
DVD
a
guy,
mon.
battle
Yeah,
guy?
yeah, yeah. So like Lux, Move, guys like that, were it was just focused on essentially battle. I know they wanted songs and record labels, but it was mostly just about the battle itself.
Yeah, when I first started hearing about, like the battle scene and seeing how serious it had gotten, and I'm going back to Cassidy, okay, because
Yeah,
Cassidy, that's my
Freeway.
dude.
Yeah.
And a lot of them Philly cats out there was like making noise and blowing it down. And you know how
Reed
we are in
too.
New York,
Yeah.
basically kind of keep it, yeah, it's us. But there was some niggas out there making noise out there. And those are the first people I got hip to. And then back here in New York, like you said, Mook, you know what I mean, is one of them dudes. Fred the Godson was
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal. All right. Um, so I didn't really get into the scene, but I respected the names that I heard coming out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a few people like I did Math Show, you know what I mean? His
Yeah.
his
Man.
part, you know what I mean, and learned a little bit about
Controversial
them.
guy.
Yeah, definitely. The cat, that Papoose, had got into it with, that brought attention to that genre as well. So, you know what I mean? And now um, I think there's a healthy kind of battle or beef going on right now in hip hop with Jada and 38
Yeah.
Special. You know what I'm saying? Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't even tap into no shit like that. But this is hip hop. This is hip hop. This ain't I'm gonna shoot up your motherfucking clique and I'm gonna, you know what I mean, this and that, and y'all gang, I got more. Nah, this is hip hop. This is rap against rap. This is verses, bars. Let's do this. We could do this all day long.
Wait,
We
wait,
could do
wait,
this all
during
day long.
yeah,
That's what hip hop is based on. That's what rap is based on. Okay,
what,
MCing, the
what
art of MCing. That's what that's based on.
during the pandemic and a little after, like what did you think of all the verses going on? Obviously, at the time, everybody was at home watching and stuff. Jada went insane. Everybody loved it with the
One.
Dipset.
If
So what do you think about that whole scene, that whole thing going on?
if you gave out an award for the best verses, that was it.
Yeah,
Locks, what's that? I mean, that was the quintessential motherfucking. That was hip hop. It
that
was.
was funny. It was like they
Yes,
clearly wanted to win.
it had all the elements in it. Okay, and what it boiled down to is, man, I do this shit for real. I do this shit for real. You know what I mean? And if you're an MC, that you can feel it. You can feel that you knew you like, yeah, nigga, yeah, nigga. It's like when you're a teacher and you got prize students and he gets it. You got
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody, teaching the whole class, everything, but one motherfucker gets it. You be like, yeah, yeah, you get it. All right, he gets it.
Legend.
And a lot of the verses was corny. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And Buck, a lot of the R&B verses, was corny. They went left. I think a lot of the
yeah. Some
parameters
of them got
around
weird. Yeah,
what the verses is about takes away from what it could be, because basically it's about songs. It's about your catalog.
Fat
Ain't
Joe was
about if I
doing
can
too
rhyme
much.
better than you. If I can rap better than you right now, let's don't nobody do no records and let's rhyme right now. That's a versus. Okay. But these are there are parameters involved. So who's got the best 20 record catalog? You
Yeah,
know, and if that's the case, there's a lot of people eligible for that kind of
yeah.
thing. And it doesn't boil down to who raps best. It's who's had the most successful 20 records or the most popular 20 records. You can kind of, add on with a performance. Like if you're perform, you can be lesser and then just kill it at
Just
your
kill it.
performance.
Yeah,
And records. I mean, you see what he just did on the stage. So yeah, I think all in all, it was a great idea, and I think if they just continue it on and just keep it. I mean, don't pump this shit out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Don't pump this shit out.
Keep it special. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Keep it hip hop.
Kaz, you had mentioned a lot of people that consider you their OG, the legends, Rakim, the legends, KRS-One, right? You being somebody who was kind of just watching this whole thing, watching hip hop unfold throughout the 80s and 90s, right? Who are some people that you as an OG were kind of starstruck by when you met them? Even though, what I'm saying, you're watching from a distance and you're like, yo, he's dope, she's dope. But then you actually meet them, you're like, man, like, what I'm saying? The vibe was like, I really, really rock with this person, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe that they're showing me love because I'm genuinely a fan of them?
I don't know. I would have to think about it
Okay.
because basically, I mean, everybody that came after me, I consider like my kids, my family, my you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm proud of
Mm,
so many of them, and some in particular that I have a relationship with or know or whatever, you know what I mean? It's extra love because I know you. You know what I
right.
mean? We talk, we bond. You know me. You respect my struggle and where I come from, so we bond behind that. But I mean, I think I just have a reverence for everybody who's taken up this motherfucking, culture and ran with it forward. Okay. Now, everybody didn't run forward. A lot of
Right.
people went left, sideways and shit, took the shit sideways. But for all of those that followed in my footsteps and moved the culture forward, all right, I salute them.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not in awe of anybody or anything like that. But I'm a fan. I am a fan. When I got to meet Nas, you know, like as an adult, it was a different experience from when I met Nas when he was from Queensbridge and he, you know what I mean, his first song, and I seen him somewhere and like, yo, what up, what up, what up, like that.
Right.
Now every you know what I mean? We had a paid in full foundation. He opening casinos and shit like that. He got like he's that
Going
dude.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. But it's like if one of my kids, you know, had gone on to do great things and become, you know what I mean, greater than myself. That's what you want.
Wow.
You want
Okay.
the next generation to pick up the ball and do and take it, further. And they've done that, and I'm proud of all of them.
Right on, Kaz. There was a conversation a few years ago, Cass. I know you remember this because I know you got asked this a lot, and I just want to hear it from you. And maybe you can put your own, unique twist for our show. There was a conversation years ago, man, about I don't even know how it came about, but about Latinos' involvement in the genesis of hip hop, right? And a lot of Latino brothers and sisters felt like they were being slighted, maybe written out of the picture. We know, being fans, me and Robbie, we know that there was obviously a lot of Latino graph writers, MCs, B-boys, B-girls back in the day who helped start this thing and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? You being an OG, bro, and being somebody that was there from get-go, man, could you give us maybe like a brief little synopsis of your take on that, man?
Um, I've had to address this, a few times, um, more times than I care to.
Okay.
Basically, I didn't think we would have to do this.
Right,
At all.
right,
But
right.
I understood the need for validation from a genre of participants, who feel like they didn't get their proper due. Now, the thing I think that spurred all this was when we started moving toward the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and
Okay.
all this, all the documentaries start popping and all these shows about hip hop and all this, thing about how hip hop started and things like that. And people started saying, wait, hold up. I they ain't mentioning me enough, or they're not mentioning us enough, or they're not. I mean, at some point, some kind of resentment started to brew about not keying in on particular people, uh, uh, particularly the Latino contribution to hip hop.
Right.
That wasn't everybody. Okay, my first DJ partner was Puerto Rican and Cuban,
Hmm.
DJ Disco Wiz. Okay, one of my first MCs, Prince Whipple Whip. All right, Black and Puerto Rican. Once I joined the Crush Brothers, who was our DJ? Charlie Chase, Puerto Rican DJ, right? So, as far as my involvement with Latinos in hip hop is definitive, you see it. Now, as far as the picture at large, everybody didn't have a Disco Wiz. Everybody didn't have a Charlie Chase. Everybody didn't have a Whipple Whip. Okay, this was a gradual thing. And there's one thing that I can say, that most people that I know, most of the examples that I know as far as Latinos getting involved in hip hop, they got involved with a Black person that was doing it.
Okay.
They got down somebody that was doing it that was Black. They was either friends, buddies, or whatever. Because my brother, Disco Wiz, we went to high school together, but he was a boxer. He used to box in the PAL. Okay. I was a DJ. And then when we met in school and we got cool, I didn't start boxing. He started DJing.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? So our cultures were intermixed, but at a point where, okay, this is okay, y'all, you can get down with this. Y'all can come fuck with this. Because the generation before that, man, what you doing fucking with them niggas? What you doing fucking with them morenos? All right. My man used to get called on it every time me and him would walk down the street in a Puerto Rican neighborhood. Somebody would say to him in Spanish, yo, why you fucking with this fucking Moreno? And he'd take off his Kango and his Kazals and hand them to me and knock that motherfucker out. All right. And we would keep on moving because we was brothers. So I'm saying that to make the point that it wasn't always cool, everybody cool, kumbaya, and we all together. All right. We had separate cultures, and at some point we intertwined. Okay. But Black people didn't start salsa dancing. Black people didn't start playing timbales. Black people didn't start doing the merengue. Okay. Puerto Ricans started doing hip hop.
Okay. Robbie.
Yeah. So was this like I guess like Was this just like because of New York City, you'd say? Like, was this location like how much of an influence does being from like the melting pot, you know what I'm saying, have on?
A definitive influence. Come on, it's everything. It's
Yeah.
everything. Melly Mel, this ain't a black culture or a Latino culture. It's a Bronx culture.
Yeah.
Okay, and everybody that come from the Bronx, if you was in the Bronx at that time when this kind of sprung up, then you were part of it. You gravitated towards it. Right? Whoever was the first practitioners or whatever, that first generation, you either was either doing it or watching it being done. Okay, and wanting to be involved
Yeah.
in one level or another. A lot of times we didn't know if you was Puerto Rican or Cuban or Jamaican or Trinidadian or Belizean or whatever the fuck. You was dark skinned, you know, or you lived around us. All right, we didn't always make that differentiation. So it wasn't until I think hip hop started getting these props that people started saying, wait, hold up. We was part of that too. You always was part of it. But now you're saying, okay, we the Latino contingent was part of that. Whereas to us, she was always included. To
Yeah.
me, it was always included, in the equation. I think some people tend to kind of say it was more than it was. I mean, Fat Joe's been quoted as saying, yo, it's 50-50 as far as Latin and blacks in hip hop. And that's ridiculous. It ain't even 50-50 today.
Yeah.
Maybe on a world level, but here in the States, it ain't, I mean, it's still
Oh,
not
I guess
50-50
if
as
yeah,
far.
if you could include all like the countries, yeah, it might be.
Yeah, yeah. If you include all the Latin speaking countries, and
Yeah, yeah.
of course,
A
they
lot of
probably
rap.
more.
Yeah, a lot of people rap.
Oh yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
world is rapping right
Yeah.
now, okay, but with about the numbers that they're talking about what was here, and what was happening back then, and the numbers were even smaller back then because hip hop was just confined to the inner city, later the tri-state, and then little by little the rest of the country.
But why do you think he has that opinion? Do you think he's
He
kind
who?
of like Fat Joe?
Oh, Fat Joe. Fat Joe. I mean, everything he says, I think he's sincere in
Oh,
saying.
okay. Yeah.
Doesn't consider the percentages. You know what I mean? Basically, I don't think he was trying to make any falsehoods or anything like that. I don't think he didn't consider the percentages. And
Yeah.
then you got to think about by the time he got involved in hip hop, there were a lot more Latinos involved. He kind of led a whole new charge by being the entity
Him
that
and
he
Pun.
was.
Yeah.
And yeah, him and Pun, shit, it created an explosion for Latinos, especially Puerto Ricans, to get involved in hip hop, especially rap, DJing, production, and all the rest of that. Got to give it up to them for that.
Yeah. Joe will say something on one episode, then a week later, he'll be like, I was tripping. But I was
Right.
uh,
Because, but at least he's got enough to say, all right, I stretched it a little bit or
yeah.
whatever, but that's me. If it was 50 people, I'm gonna say it was 500.
Yo, Cass, I'm gonna switch the cloth a little bit, man. Talking to you on the phone and kind of even seeing your demeanor on some of these documentaries and even right now in this interview, you strike me as somebody who has definitely ran the streets a little bit and would be quick to still yoke somebody up by their collar if necessary. You know what I'm saying? But listening to you talk, I also hear like a teacher element. You know what I'm saying? I hear somebody that likes to pour into people, pour knowledge, pour wisdom, pour experience. Um, which one of those sides of you, Cass, has been harder or easier to kind of grow into? Like, which one of those sides of you is more comfortable for you as an individual, man?
I think the teacher, nurturer, kind of side of me is more prevalent, has always been. I grew up in the Bronx, New York City, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you have to have a persona, okay, to survive out here in this city. So I'm whatever I need to be when I need to be it. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying? basically, some people know me, you would think I was Carlton Banks, all right, from the fucking Fresh Prince, because I'm like, it's not unusual to
Right,
be
right, right,
loved.
right.
You know what I mean? I'm on that. I'm Barry Manilow. You know what I'm saying? I'm Neil Diamond. I'm Queen. I'm type shit in my shit. You know what I'm saying? But you can see by my swag how I get down. You know what I mean? I'm who I need to be at all times. All
Okay.
right. So I'm not a thug. You know, I've never been a gangster. You know what I mean? I came up in the streets, but not outside in the street. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not the street guy. You know what I mean? That's not me. But I'm serious about who I am and what I do. I don't play with people. I laugh, joke, but I don't play. And I'm not to be played with. So I think that comes across to people, and I hope it does, because familiarity breeds contempt. All right. And my mother told me when I was little, never let a puppy lick your mouth.
Mm.
Okay. Because once they do that, they'll do anything. They think they could do anything. And that's the same thing with people. Never let people get too close, say whatever they want to say to you or whatever. Because if they do it once, they'll think they can do that shit. So I
Mm.
stand on it.
I can respect that and appreciate you for saying that, bro. Kaz, obviously, hip hop, you've seen it go from literally being the park gyms and on the street corners to becoming kind of this global phenomenon. Obviously, when you were doing it, you was just doing it for the love of it and the passion of it. But some doors opened up to where you were able to travel a little bit and kind of see some things. You know what I'm saying? So two-part
Mhm.
question, Kaz. One was, what was the first time where a door opened up for you to travel overseas? And then the follow-up question is, out of all the places you've traveled, sir, what's been your favorite place, man? The most memorable place?
Okay, good question. Actually, I haven't been that many places overseas, but the first place that I traveled to was Japan.
Fire. That's
We
fire.
talking 1983 after the Wild Style movie came out. Some people in Japan bought the rights to it, so they set up a tour for the people from the movie to come out there. We were out there for like 3 weeks. Before we went there, we went to California, and we did a club lingerie in California, and that was like our little trip before we went to Japan. And that was the first time I had been on a plane. All right. And we talking like what, 82, 83? That was the first time I had been on a plane. And then us going to Japan later on was the first trip and the most memorable trip overseas that I've ever been on, the Wild Style tour. That was
Okay.
my the first
They were
time
going
out.
crazy, right? Because I think I've seen some videos. Like I follow random like hip hop pages and stuff, and I think it
Uh-huh.
popped up, and it was in Japan, and they were going insane.
They was wilding, okay? And let me tell you, they are so efficient out there. Okay, we got out there, everything was laid out, everything was set up everywhere we went, everything was precision. They had vans for us, they had like cases of spray paint for all the graffiti artists to paint the vans.
Oh, that's
They set up
crazy.
they set up like event space, like in the middle of big squares in Tokyo, and set up stages and put up a sound system and all that. And we got up and performed and break danced and all that shit. And before the show was over, right? Within an hour, I would say 30 minutes, the stage was gone. The stage was gone, the equipment was gone, everything was gone. Yo, them people cleaned up that square like it was when we first got there. Okay. And that was everywhere we went. Okay. Everything was clean, everything was efficient. They didn't bullshit around, they didn't play. You ain't see nobody back smoking nothing. Okay. Everything was smooth. All right. It was my greatest experience on the road. Trust and believe. Now, what happened was I assessed some debts in the form of child support over the years. Okay, and so they snatched my passport. They snatched they put liens on my bank accounts. They whatever checks came in, whatever they would garnish my checks. So I went through that for 30 years. 30 years I was unable to travel overseas because I didn't have a passport. And it wasn't until last year or the year before, I was finally in a position to to absolve all that. You know what I mean? In one whop, just like, yo, here, pow. You know what I mean? It was crazy because they was like, you want to pay the whole thing? I was like, yeah, all of it. It was like the whole thing. I was like, yeah, what? Nobody never did that before? He
Get it
was
out of
like,
the way.
nope,
Yeah.
not this amount. You know what I mean? So anyway, I got that done. And then in a matter of a month, I applied for my passport. They took the liens off my bank accounts, everything. I cleared up my credit, everything, you know what I mean? Just like that. So I was able to travel this year on my first tour. I did a Wild Style tour again. Okay, but this was in celebration of the 40th anniversary
Yeah.
of Wild Style, and there's a new 4K version of it out.
That's fire.
So I've been doing
Fire.
like promo tours. I went to France. I went to Leeds. I went to Heidelberg. I went to about 9 cities in Europe over the summer, and they were great experiences. But
Yeah. How was
I
that?
would have to say best was my first,
Yeah.
That's fire,
and I
man.
still got more to come. Okay, like I said, I need more stamps in my passport. All right, and they already putting on some more things, so I'll be back out there. Maybe we'll talk again, and we'll see where
Beautiful.
we at.
That's fire, man. I got a question real quick, Cass. You mentioned child support, man. I was building with some guys. I used to work at a work release facility, and I have children of my own. A lot of these guys are trying to catch up on child support, man. In your opinion, man, what do you think could be changed in the child support system to improve it, man? I've always had this idea that I think a father or a mother should, if I'm able to prove that I'm helping pay a bill or, buying some diapers or milk or clothes or whatever, that should count as some form of child support because there's no guarantee that this other parent is using this money for what it needs to be used for, right? And your experience with that, bro, talk to our fathers out there and some of the mothers. In your opinion, how could the child support system be improved, man, in this country, man?
I mean, first of all, I think you got to start from day one. Okay, I think everybody should have DNA tests. Okay, when
Mm,
kids are all right. It should be mandatory that every man that's supposed to be the father of a kid be tested at that kid before they sign a birth certificate. Okay, so you know that that is your child. All
sure.
right. I'm not going to get into all of the fact about us signing birth certificates in the first place and all that. That's a whole
Okay.
nother show.
Okay.
Okay. But once that's done, you know what I mean? I don't believe that there should be a penalty accrued by the state on how you govern your house, your household, or you and your family. You understand what I'm saying? I think we've
Yeah.
always been self-sufficient as far as that goes. You know what I mean? Way back in the days. As soon as you get under the man's law, then they start putting all these laws on you that just got to be this got to be that. You remember the whole welfare system was built around, okay, we'll give y'all money, but you can't have no man in here.
Right. Right.
You
Eliminate
can't
the
have no
man out
man
the picture. Yeah. 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 Sure.
how you take the man out the, you know what
Right.
I mean? You just him, you displace the family, and it's a whole, thing. So I think all that was some political shit in the first place. I don't think taxes are just. I don't think child support is just. I don't think traffic tickets are just. I don't think any way they penalize you with money, okay, is a just way to do things. You know what I mean? And I think we just live in a capitalist system, and child support is just another one of those vacuum cleaners that fucking suck the life out of people. I don't agree with it at all. I think there should be other resolutions, as far as how women and men deal with motherhood.
Okay. Cass. And then a follow up question, man. I got 4 kids of my own, man. I notice, man, whenever my mama gets the kids, man, I'll be telling her this too, like in a joking way. She's a lot nicer to the kids than I remember her being to me when I was
Yeah.
a kid, right? What's that been like going from Grandmaster cast to grandfather cast, man?
I mean, I was pretty much an absentee dad to most of my kids, like on a day-to-day basis. Most of my kids
Okay.
live with their mom. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So we all had a relationship. We all have a relationship and have had all of them growing up and all that. But their parental parent has been their mom. All right.
Okay.
So now that most of them are grown and I got grandkids and stuff, and it's like they bring, the kids to grandpa. See, now they have a better idea who their dad is. Now that they
Mm.
now that they're older. Now that I'm kind of stuck to the fabric, got back to being me and kind of, created a kind of entity that they could say that's my dad. You know what I mean? Everybody could say that's my dad. And I had to get stable. I had to get stable because I got kids in all different places. So y'all all over the place. But guess what? You only got one dad, and he's right here. He's right here. Okay. And if any of you need me at any time or whatever, you know what I mean, you already know. And that's been the relationship with me and my kids. My point being, like I said, I didn't grow up in the house with any of my kids for any length of time, you know. So it's a different dynamic when you have kids and you grow up with your kids, you know what I mean? Your kids live in a house with you, you know what I mean? They're with you on a day-to-day basis. Um, I think people would have less claim to any kind of support or anything, especially if you're a custodial parent and you like, all right, half the time they with you and half the time, they're with their mom. You know what I mean? I don't think none of that should come into play. You do it, I do what I need to do for them, and you do what you need to do.
Well, Robert.
Okay, I guess before we go, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about your legacy? And you mentioned early in the interview how a lot, I mean, damn near all the rappers are downstream of what you did. Do you care or think about um, what what people might think in like 50 years, 100 years? Where do you care? Do you think about that? Do you want them to, uh, you know, care and, you know, do the knowledge, find out, all that?
I mean, of course I do. Of
Yeah.
course I do. If aliens were to come down here, well, they're already here, but if aliens were to make themselves known, excuse me, if they were to make themselves known right now, I'd be like, okay, what's this rap thing? What's this hip hop thing about? I wouldn't want them to take it from here. Okay, I would want them to have a deeper understanding of where this thing came from. Okay, and like give them some research, do some, and let them take back
And
and
then they start
assess.
rapping.
And then, hey, if they do, then fine. But guess what? They'll have all the generations of information and knowledge, all
Yeah.
right, to go by. Okay. And that's why nobody coming out rapping today should be trash.
Mm.
7, 8 generations of rap to learn from. There's a definitive blueprint that's been drawn. And even if you go off the line a little bit, you know, you're going to create a new inroad. You know what I mean? So, I mean, add on. All right. But there's enough out here for you already, nobody to be whacked. Nobody should be whacked.
Fair,
All
fair.
right. I got two more questions, Cass. One is what back in the day, man, when you was doing this hip hop thing, man, you guys were again just doing it for the love of it, for the passion of it. It was something brand new. It was still obviously in development. To my understanding, there was a few like indie hip hop labels, or there was yeah, Robbie, there was a few indie hip hop labels, a few indie record labels that were, putting out music. And then the majors kind of swooped in, right? And then they started signing people left and right in the 80s and the 90s, obviously, they see that it's this big boom. The youth are responding to this. This is something that we can sell. This is something that we can put on soundtracks and use to sell Adidas and sneakers and all of this, right? My question to you is, and it's funny now because it's come back now in this era on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, where it's cool to be independent, like people don't need the major record labels, right? Cass, I've always wanted to ask somebody from your era, man, why do you think or feel that a lot of early rappers and producers weren't being independent or didn't have that mindset to put out their music independently, man?
What happened was early hip hop and rap was independent, purely independent.
Okay.
Okay. Some of the first rap records that came out were on independent labels. King Tim III, Personality Jock, was on Spring Records, Fatback Band. All right. Jocko Henderson was on TSOP, Sound of Philadelphia. All right. Rapper's Delight was on Sugar Hill Records, which was an independent label. Prior to that, all the Enjoy artists, Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, the Funky Four, Cool Cow, the Disco Four, the Treacherous Three, all of them was on Enjoy Record. That was an independent label. Um, uh, every record on up to when Curtis Blow got signed. Okay. And then when Houdini got signed to Jive, those were the first artists to get signed to major labels. Prior to that, the entire culture was independent. Now, meaning we were off the grid. All right. Wasn't nobody checking for us like that. All right. The RIAA wasn't checking for us. Okay. The Grammys wasn't checking for us. MTV, I mean, no, wasn't checking for us. So now a major label signs rap. You get a successful artist, all right? They sign another artist. Now, other major labels is like, wait a minute, okay, this thing looks like it's catching on. We need to this and this and that, and so that's where that starts. So the move back to independence comes from the shift that's happened from the time we started signing artists, and you was getting real deals. They was putting budgets behind you. They were putting A&Rs. You had, artist development, and a lot of the early labels, they were guiding you. They were, showing you how to become artists. All right. Once the majors came in, the whole dynamic changed. So now you're a part of the music industry, and you have to go along with the, whatever the music industry does. All right. Your song has to be melodic. It has to have a hook. It has to have a this. It has to, and now they start putting structure to everything. Okay. Now we got to get a producer who can this and this and that. They start putting components together. And now it's out of your hands. It's like, I've heard Leo Cohen say, I can make your grandmother a platinum artist.
Mm.
It ain't about how talented you are. It's about
True.
the machine that I put behind you. Okay. So that machine is the difference between an independent artist and an artist that's signed to a major label or that has a deal. Then that advance they give you, they're going all out to get that money back. So you're going to get videos, you're going to be in magazines, you're going to be on radio, you're going to get airplay, okay? Because you got the machine. People lean toward independent because now the machine has shrunk to streams. Record companies are streaming companies now. You're not getting paid for physical copies of music anymore. Used to sell an album, it was like $12.99, $14.99, depending on how big you was. You got a piece of that $14.99. Now you get 0.00.0% of when your song gets downloaded. Like, get the fuck out of here. How you supposed to make any money out of that? Of course you want to become independent again. Now that's the best way.
They give out like a 1,000% of a cent,
yeah,
and stuff like that.
And now that
ridiculous.
we have the internet, we have social media, we can promote ourselves. We can create our own machine. We can put our own content out. We can put our own websites up, put our stuff for sale direct to consumer. All right. You may not get the amount of sales that you get from a record company, but you get that money direct to you. So if I'm selling you an album for $10, I'm getting the whole $10.
Yeah. I think it was on YouTube.
Albums are fucking good,
I think on YouTube, if someone streams a song, you get less than you get like 1/10 of a cent or something like that.
Yeah.
Like less than
like the streams only add up to like thousands of dollars. Okay. So I think that's why the push towards independence is happening.
All right, Cass. My last question. I don't know if Robbie has any more questions. My last question, part statement, and then second part question. My experience, in my opinion, man, hip hop is a lifestyle. It is a mindset. It is a culture. Something that my cousin, I've listened to rap my whole life, but something I had a cousin from the Bay Area in Cali, moved out here to Kansas back in the early 2000s, mid 90s, my fault. But he turned me on to like Wu Tang and Nas, and he would like stop the CD and rewind it and say, "Hey man, did you hear what he just said?" You know what I'm saying? He would rewind it back, and it got me thinking. And I could sit here and go on and on. Like I said, I believe I learned more from Wu Tang records than I ever did in any year of high school, me personally. You know what I'm saying? But
That's
my
it.
question, yeah, I feel like hip hop has changed me from the inside out. Just having respect for the art form, for the DJing and the graffiti and the MC, the b-boy, the beatboxing. To me, hip hop is the ultimate underdog story, ultimate form of self-expression. In your opinion, sir, now it seems like the term hip hop is used strictly just for rap music in the business end of things. Do you feel, sir, as an OG, as a vet, as somebody that was there from the Genesis, do you feel like that term is used almost too loosely now when we say hip hop?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, the problem is, and the problem was, is that we never came together and created any kind of council or board or defining, you know what I mean, kind of statement to what hip hop is and who hip hop is. Hip hop is the biggest genre of music in the world, and it's moving every component of this planet right now. And the thing about it is, what other company, what other entity do you know of this value that anybody can just walk into and just exploit and
Mm.
become a part of? You ain't got to buy no stock. You ain't got to, you know what I mean? You can say I'm hip hop and just start doing it. You can open up a hip hop clothing store. I've seen a hip hop chicken store in Baltimore. Okay. You can put that name on anything and ain't nobody going, who's there to contest it? Okay. So I think the notoriety of the culture has been watered down by the commercialism of it. I don't think it's as important, you know what I mean, to the world at large as it should be. All right. Culturally, yes, indeed. It's our saving grace. Us within the culture, we realize the value of this culture, what it's done for us as a people, what it continues to do. Yeah, okay, yeah. Has it gone left sometimes? Yeah. You know what I mean? Do we have some bumps in the road? You know what I mean? We got some, clowns and ne'er-do-wells involved? Yeah, sure. But as a whole, this is a world culture. You know what I mean? And I don't know anything that has brought the world together the way hip hop has.
Mm.
All right. So I mean, I'm in for life. You already know.
Right on, man. Well, Kaz, bro, that's our time, man. We appreciate you pulling up.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything that you want to plug or promote for our listeners out there? Radio, media, website, any of that?
Well, basically, I'm just not going to take for granted everybody knows what I'm doing. I'm on Rock the Bells Radio on Sirius XM channel 43, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. with my partner, Sha Rock, first female MC of hip hop. And we're going on our fifth year anniversary on Rock
All
the
right.
Bells. Okay. Also, my podcast, I got a podcast on YouTube. It's called Casual Talk. All right, with me and the Henny Boys. Y'all check us out, like and subscribe.
For
Right.
sure.
I'm on the council of the Hip Hop Museum being built in New York. We open up in 2027. And
Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
That's
oh
That's
gonna be
yeah.
fire.
crazy.
That's dope.
It's gonna be crazy. Trust and believe. I mean, this is going to be monumental. And as far as a monument to hip hop, I have to see this happen before I leave this planet. Okay, we talking legacy. We talking about something that you can, that's a standing testament to this culture that you can't erase. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to the opening of the Hip Hop Museum. Salute to all the people that's helping to make it happen. Our CEO, Rocky Buchanan, and our whole staff. Also, we just opened up recording studio in the elementary school in the Boogie Down Bronx. All right, the first recording school in the elementary school. It's
Oh, that's crazy.
CS50 in the Bronx, and we call the Studio 55. All right.
That's fire.
And the students from the school will have opportunity to go in, utilize the studio. We have a podcasting area for them to work on that. We got teachers that are coming and instruct them on engineering, production, and all that. Okay, so I'm really happy about that. And on the next level, we're opening up the first hip hop high school in New York City.
That's crazy.
What?
Hip hop school. Yes, it's opening up in September here in the Bronx, New York City. All right, so we've been busy, man. And after you get a certain age, after you've been in here for a long time, if you noticed, a lot of the classic artists are starting to do other things, and that kind of outside of just music itself. Nas, even though he's still making music, still touring, doing concerts, Nas opened up a casino. Okay, here in Queens, Nas got mass appeal where he's putting out all the classic artists,
Yeah.
new albums and work and all of that. You know what I mean? You gotta love it. You know what I mean? Other than that, I do my jams each and every summer in Crotona Park, Boogie Down Bronx, like 20-something years annually. And so our first night was yesterday, it got rained out. So we do every Thursday in July, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I got all the classic hip hop DJs each and every week in Crotona Park in the Bronx. I mean, there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. I just try to, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready to do that Big Daddy Kane challenge, the 16-bar challenge. I got to record that for Big Daddy Kane, so you have to check that out. I'm joining into the fray.
Yeah, we'll be on the lookout, man. Well, Kaz, man, we appreciate you for pulling up. We salute you for all your contributions to the game, man. Thank you for thinking that hip hop was cool before we even knew what it was or what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Just all those years of producing and DJing and writing rhymes in your notebooks, man. And it turned into this. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you, bro. Thank you,
Right.
man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your time, man, and I appreciate the platform.
Absolutely. All right, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Peace. Salute.
Peace.
One love.
Right.